Fran is a chef. She has run a restaurant, so she's as a small business owner in the past. She knows exactly what she's talking about in this thread when she leads it with saying, "Tariffs are hurting your favorite restaurants. Here's how." And like I said, there's a lot here, but she makes clear that it's, again, forget the chains for a second. It's your local restaurants will have to deal with tariffs on food and on packaging and on equipment. All of that is going to drive up their expenses. That's going to drive up menu prices. Restaurants are already taking a hit on margins that are so thin they're nearly unsustainable. The other thing tariffs do is forget just the direct correlation of price. That's assuming you can get the thing that you want to get and that you're going to have to pay more for it. The odds are also that you're not going to get the thing you want to get because some suppliers will just say no rather than pay the tariffs. We'll sell our products in Europe and Asia and Australia, anywhere else in the world. We'll be fine, putting the USA in a timeout for a little while. But if you're disrupting a supply chain for a small business like a restaurant, especially if you want to serve, global cuisine. Look, if you just want to sell, sweet corn and brats, you're going to be just fine. A lot of restaurants get their food, their supplies, their seasonings, their equipment from all over the world. It's how they stand out. And so if the restaurants have to pay more, you're going to pay more. At your neighborhood bistro, she writes, taco truck, noodle shop. They don't have the cushion to absorb something like this. And what makes it worse, she says, is the uncertainty. The constant changes, the back and forth in trade policy make it nearly impossible for restaurant owners to plan, invest, grow, or even stay open. She says tariffs are not just numbers on paper. Tariffs are threats to jobs, to culture, to community. We need real solutions that support small business and not crush it under the weight of unpredictability. And that's, believe it or not, and some people will choose not to believe this, that's not a liberal or a conservative thing. It's really not. That's why you see as many conservative economists and others saying this is not the way to go. The Wall Street Journal, which is, as far right as most media goes, they have been against everything that Donald Trump's doing on tariffs from day one. Not that there isn't a role for tariffs, not that there isn't a role for trade deals, but you got to be smart about it. You got to negotiate each trade deal differently. And that's not what Trump wants to do. And now Trump most recently said something along the lines, Greg, of, "Oh, well, we don't even have to do deals. I don't have to sign deals. If people want to, use the United States market, they'll come to me." But this was the guy who promised he was going to work out deals with everybody.
He's the deal guy. He has a book called it.
I know. The Mr. Art of the Deal now says we don't have to have any deals.
The art of the you come to me. I mean, okay, so let's see. Let's on the list here. He doesn't have to defend the Constitution. He doesn't have to uphold the Constitution. He doesn't have to really know the Constitution. He doesn't have to do deals. He doesn't have to take responsibility. He doesn't have to do all the things the presidents normally do. So golfing, rallies, and bemoaning the media. Those are his chief responsibilities.
And telling little girls they don't need $30.
Yeah.
Or 250 pencils. And, from the guy that literally has a golden toilet, and has spent decades showing off how ostentatious he can be, is now saying, well, you're going to have to make do with less this Christmas. So much like we talked about with, dolls, the same goes for small businesses, that there are going to be these supply chain disruptions that are going to hurt. And by the way, because he's no longer seeking to get all these deals where he said he would fix everything, it just guarantees now that it's going to take longer whenever we do reach agreement. It's going to take that much longer for things to get back to normal.
Yeah.
It's, what did we learn after COVID? It takes a while for supply chains to get restarted. You can't just flip a switch.
No, this is going to be years of repair. I mean, and this is what happens every time, Pat. When George W. Bush started a small war in the middle, not a small war, but you know what I mean, like not a world war, Barack Obama had to go in and spend the first 2 years handshaking and repairing the relationships. After Donald Trump won, Joe Biden had to go around the world and handshake and repair relationships. And that's what the next. And honestly, let's say in a perfect world, we get a level-headed Republican as president. Like, if those exist, please be out there somewhere.
Yeah.
They're still going to have to go around the world and do even more handshaking and repairing of relationships. And half their term is going to be gone because they have to fix his mess.
And I guarantee if it's a Democrat instead, what you're going to see in the first 2 years is probably a Democratic Congress. And again, things will get fixed. During the Clinton years, he had a Congress for 2 years, and by the end of it, a budget deficit had become a budget surplus. In Obama's first 2 years, we got health care reform that we'd been talking about for decades. In the first 2 years of Biden's term, we finally got the infrastructure law that we needed and the best economic recovery post-COVID in the world. Mm-hmm. And then after 2 years, voters, hear about how, it's all costing so much, but then everything gets broken again. Rinse, repeat, and that's where we are right now with the trade war.